Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on November 1st, 2012. And I'm basically going to go off and say right from the get-go, I felt that in most Impact Wrestling shows that I've seen recently, especially the Thursday shows, out of all of them, this has probably been one of the more weaker ones. It was their open fight night again. And I definitely get the concept of open fight night. Anybody can challenge anyone at any point in time. It just felt like in certain instances that it just didn't seem to fit at all. Obviously, they're attempting to create a feud between ODB and Tara at this point, with ODB challenging Tara's boyfriend. Honestly, that match was pretty much what you would expect it to be, a bunch of ducking, dodging, and ODB beating up on Jesse and eventually Jesse getting the win. Obviously, they're trying to build up a little bit of feud there. Hopefully, that can build into something a little bit nicer. I did not like what I saw tonight, basically, on that aspect. Another weak point of the show was, the whole RVD Joey Ryan match. Now, I know Joey Ryan just started onto the Impact roster, but he's definitely done some very good work, and I did not feel that this was one of his better nights. Though on the plus side, I do like what they're doing with Matt Morgan. They have him teaming up with Joey Ryan as this little whole, they have this common cause type deal between the two of them, and they did a good job of him getting over his point that he's really after Hogan in this case. He takes that, that cape that he wore at Shea Stadium and was wearing it around. I liked what they did with him. I didn't like what they did with Joey Ryan in that, but in this case though. Obviously, I think they're going for a Joey Ryan RVD feud, but they're definitely implicating Matt Morgan into this as well. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully this feud as well will gain some steam and get a little bit better. I mean, they have another week before the whole Impact, the whole Turning Point pay-per-view to get something going between the two of them, if that's what they're going for, is for one of the pay-per-view matches. But there were plus sides to the show. The making of the Bobby Roode, James Storm, and AJ Styles match, the triple threat match for the #1 contendership, was an extremely good concept to me. Of course, the winner gets the title shot. The person who gets pinned or is forced to submit is not going to be allowed to have another title shot until next year's Bound for Glory. I like that little concept thrown in there. It puts a lot more importance to the match, to A, being the winner, and B, not being the loser in the terms of getting pinned or submitted. Obviously, the person in the middle of this one will have no real ramifications to them, but it definitely gives them bigger emphasis to the match and where they're going to be going with certain characters into the future. And hopefully we'll see something. Hopefully we'll end up seeing something really good there. I expect a really good match from that when it goes into the pay-per-view. Making the Jeff Hardy Austin Aries match a ladder match was a good idea in my mind. I thought it was a very good. Obviously, Jeff Hardy works very well in ladder matches, and Austin Aries, well, you've seen what he's done in X Division, in the X Division matches, especially the Ultimate X matches. It should translate well into a ladder match in general. So once again, that will just emphasize more with what their match is going to be at the pay-per-view and the bad blood that they have between each other, and emphasizing the storyline with them. Also, Jeff Hardy did have a very good match with Robbie E in there. Maybe they're trying to push Robbie E a little bit more, and hopefully you can see a little bit more with him. I don't think he needs to be out there with main event players, but they definitely put on a decent match tonight. And also, another really good match was, well, not really a good match, but a good emphasis of keeping the storyline going, the Samoa Joe and Magnus storyline. They put together a decent short match ending in disqualification, and this is obviously for the continuance of the feud, and the backstage promo by Samoa Joe was extremely good as well. and now I'm going to get on to my last little point of the night, which was the whole aces and eights and against everybody deal. Sting said at the beginning of the show he was going to that somebody was going to get unmasked that night. Obviously, later on in the show, it did. They built most of the show around this whole not Bubba, but Bully Ray versus Devon aspect, and they definitely got that whole tension building between both of them, giving you a nice little taste, very small taste between the two of them. Obviously, we'll be seeing more of. We'll be seeing this feud continue on in some way, shape, or form, whether it be at the next pay-per-view, even though they said that Kurt Angle was going to get what was ever left of Devon, but you know, you'll see a lot more going into the pay-per-view, and between this feud, between the two of them, you can definitely feel the tension there, and we'll see where they end up going with that. The one thing that I really didn't like was how the Aces and Eights member was unveiled tonight, which was pretty much by pure accident by Joseph Parks. It's good that they got Luke Gallows out there and revealed, but I would have liked him to be revealed kind of like Devon was at the pay-per-view. This one was kind of by accident. The good thing was they put him over strong right after that by doing the chokeslam through the table, but all in all, I thought that came off as a little weak. Unveiling the Aces and Eights member that way versus in another fashion that they could have done it to make it seem a little bit more impactful, a little bit more of an emphasis behind it. Overall, I thought the show was okay. It definitely had some good points to it. Definitely good in-ring action throughout most of the night. But overall, from the shows that I've seen over the past weeks, this show was probably a little bit more on the downside than it was on the upside in my mind. Like I said, there were some good points in there. But there was definitely a lot more what I felt to be bad points. Not really bad points, but just kind of points going throughout the show. That's pretty much all I have to say about TNA Impact Wrestling this week. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.